Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, what I'm going to be doing for you is a Drugstore brand full coverage foundation, concealer, contour, highlight, blush tutorial. So yeah, this is the finished look that I came up with, or if you want to get this exact look, stick around. So to get started, we are going to use the Maybelline Master Prime by Face Studio Primer and Base. It is in the Blur and Smooth formula. If you watched my latest video, which was my best primers for oily skin, you will see that this was in there. So I love this stuff. I always just shake it first. So I'm just going to take a little bit, and I like to place it on my cheeks, my forehead, nose, and chin. And then I just go ahead and rub it all in. So I'm going to take a little bit more and place it on my neck as well, because I do bring my foundation onto my neck. I don't tan my face, so that is why my face is a different color than my body, and I kind of gotta, you know, color coordinate. I'll be an old lady with an old body, but I refuse to have an old face. And what I always like to do as well is just put some chapstick on my lips. This is just the chapstick in the classic cherry formula, scent, flavor. So, I don't think I told you guys, but like if you guys didn't notice in my color correcting video, I did get a second round of lip injections. So if they looked crazy, then that's why. And if they look crazy now, that's why. But we're going bigger. I ain't done with them yet. Alright, so I'm going to start first with color correcting just because of how crazy my skin is right now. And because this is a full coverage drugstore tutorial. So I have the LA Girl Pro Conceal concealers. One is in, does it say what shade this is? This is? Hello. This is in the shade orange, and then this one is obviously in the shade green. Go figure. Another really great one that I like to use, but it's a little too light for me, is just the NYX Dark Circle Concealer. But it's really great as well. I might use a little bit of this. I might. Because this one, I don't know. You know, I really do like this one, but it's very dark. So, you know what? We're going to go in with the NYX today. Okay. NYX. Alright, so taking my NYX Dark Circle Concealer. This is in the shade Light Pale, which I don't know why I didn't get the darker one, but oh well. I'm just going to take this brush and place it under my eyes. This can be like a really great concealer actually as well. So as you can see, it's really light on me. Like it's, the color difference between this and this is like, hey, how you doing? I'm not going to go ham or too hard with this under my eyes right now, because it's just your color correcting concealer. So when you're using your color correcting concealer, you don't want to apply it the same as you would your regular concealer, like in that triangle shape that we all do, because we're all basic as shit and do the same thing. So you just want to apply it like where the darkness is. So I just bring it up just a little bit right here as well. And then while that's sitting there, I am going to go in and blend that out, no worries. I am going to take my LA Girl Pro Conceal, and I'm taking it on my finger just because when I'm placing it on my pimples, I don't want to spread the bacteria around, so that's nasty. And then I'm just going to dot it on my red spots. We're going to have a lot of dotting to do today, boy. Okay, so taking my ring finger, I'm first going to start blending out the green concealer first. Now when you're blending it out, you don't want to blend it out all the way to where it's gone, because then that's going to defeat the purpose. Ew, I got some on my lips. Gross. So pretty much blend it out to where it's like that. So I'm just going to start blending out the salmon-y light pale color concealer that I placed on to my eye, just so that it's not right there. And already you guys can tell a major difference underneath my eyes. So if anything, this is definitely a really good concealer. It does have a little bit of like a salmon-y hue to it. So I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Fit Me Matte Poreless in the shade 220 Natural Beige. This is the one that I picked out. And this is an amazing, amazing foundation for oily skin types. It's probably good for combination skin, dry skin, oily skin, everything wrapped into one. I recommend this for sure if you are a girl on a budget, guy on a budget, and you just, you know, you want that full coverage foundation, but you're not sure which one to get. So another one that I was going to use was going to be the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1, but then I was like, no, you know what? I did a video yesterday where I did my best primers for oily skin types, and I was wearing the Maybelline Fit Me, and it looked amazing. So I was like, I'm just gonna do it for this one. So I'm just gonna open it up here, and I like to just pour it on the back of my hand. I like to just take my ring finger, as you guys know, and just dot the foundation on. A lot of people all the time will be like, you put too much foundation on. I'm like, girl, it's my life. Live yours. Let me live mine. So, and then I mainly really want to focus where I put that green concealer, just to make sure it's going to be all covered up. I'm all covered up. All the way up. All covered up. No. So I'm going to take my beauty blender and start blending everything out. So taking my Morphe M439 brush, which I just heard Patrick Starr talking about this, and I was like, yes girl, goals. I'm taking what's left on the back of my hand and just putting it onto my neck, just to further blend the Casperness going on up top. Even though, you know, my foundation might not match my body perfectly right now, it's better to have my neck look the same than to have like that masked line. Then I'm going in with my Revlon ColorStay Blemish Concealer in the shade Medium. And I like to take this around my nostrils, like so. And then obviously on any blemishes that I have. Okay. So then once that is on, I'm going to go ahead and blend that out. My cat is tickling my feet. I'm going to go ahead and blend it out with my finger. So you know how like everybody has their thing that they do? Well, here's mine. So ever since I was in high school, I used to do this, and I still do this, and it works for me, so I continue to do it. So instead of setting my foundation right now, I'm going to go in and apply my first concealer. Now when you're like, your first concealer, what are you talking about? You use more than one? Yes, and you will see why. So just stick around, stay tuned, you'll see what my thing is. So I'm first going to use the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer in the shade Neutralizer. Now instead of this being like a light shade, it has more of like a yellowy tone to it. So I'm going to go in and apply it in that triangle shape that we were talking about earlier. And then I'm going to go in and blend this out, obviously. And I like to take it onto my eyelids too. So to set the under eye concealer, I'm going to go in with the Coty Airspun Loose Face Powder. This is another drugstore product, obviously, and this is just in the shade Translucent. So I have some on a little tray here. I'm just going to take some on this brush, and I'm going to place it under my eye. And on the lid as well. Do the same thing on the other side. Perfect. Okay, so back to my thing. So, I like to take a bronzer and I put it all over my face. And you're just like, well, bitch, why not match your foundation to your face? I don't know. Even when I do match my foundation to my face, like if I have a darker foundation, which I'm sorry, I thought that this shade was going to be a little darker, but I didn't realize how tan I actually am. So this comes in handy for that. This is the Physicians Formula Mineral Wear Mineral Airbrushing Bronzer SPF 30 in the shade Light Bronzer. They do have another shade and it's just in the shade Bronzer, which I use that in the summertime. But the light bronzer is perfect for me right now. For being drugstore, Physicians Formula is a little pricey. Okay, so I just take this little brush that I've had for years and I'm literally just going to apply this bronzer to my whole entire face. Like I said, it's my thing. It's been my thing. I probably will do it forever. I've tried to not do it sometimes, and I always come back to it, and I'm like, no, I need this. And this stuff is so amazing, you guys. It really does airbrush the skin and leaves the skin looking so beautiful and silky, almost like how that foundation said butter, or foundation, the bronzer said butter bronzer. It just really does make it look like butter, even this stuff. So I'm literally putting it all over my face, and as you guys are gonna see, it's gonna start matching my body. It already kind of does. And then I also take some and I apply it to my neck as well, obviously to match everything else. See, it doesn't look as scary now. I look one color, right? On to contouring. I'm going to be using the E.L.F. bronzer palette. This is the cutest little bronzing palette I've ever seen. And it just looks like this. And it comes with some really beautiful shades. It does have one shimmery shade, which will be like really pretty for summer, but I'm not going to use that one today. What color should we use today? I think I'm going to go in with this one. It doesn't say what it is, but I'm going to go in with, if you were looking at it from below, it's this one right here, just in case if you happen to purchase this. So I'm going to be taking my Morphe M459 brush and just dipping it into the product. And I'm going to create a harsh line first. And then we're going to build from there. My channel, just know the things that I do with my face is going to be a little crazy. But at the end of the look, it's going to look perfect. So no worries. Do the same thing on the other side. And for being E.L.F. in a drugstore product, these bronzers really do blend out very well. So next, going in with my Real Techniques contour brush, taking more of that shade and just building on top of the line that we just drew on, painted on, fleeked on, whatever. And I'm blending it up into, not necessarily my temple, but up into that area. The same thing on the other side. So once again, dipping into that Coty Airspun powder, I'm just going to take a little cosmetic wedge and I'm going to take some on the edge of it and clean up my lines here. This is also going to be the beginning process of baking with your drugstore product. And then I'm going to start to pat along side here. I like to bring it down to the corner of my chin, like that. Do the other side. Things can get messy. I leave here sometimes with powder on my pants. Dipping into that color again, I'm then going to go underneath my jawline to hide any double chin that might be happening. Under my chin. And then following the jawline. Taking this lighter shade right here, I'm going to apply this to the temples of my forehead. Bringing it down to right here to match this contour. Swiping across my forehead, across the edge here, and then on the other side. I didn't want to use the darkest shade for this, just because you don't want your forehead contour to look as noticeable or as defined as your cheek contour. I'm going to do my nose contour, and I'm just using the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind again, and I like to put some in a triangle shape, kind of sorta, on my forehead, and then just go like this, and then, oh, and then I just very carefully bring it down the center of my nose. and then put some on my chin, as well as my Cupid's bow. Taking my beauty blender, I'm just going to start blending out the concealer on my forehead. Okay, and after I feel like it's all blended out to what I would like it to be, I'm just going to take more of the Coty Airspun powder and set that. And once I'm done setting, I do go back in with whatever's left on the brush and just go back into my temples again, just to sort of blend everything out in case if the contour got lost in the concealer. And you want to blend it out from your chin. And then the Cupid's bow. And you do the same thing. I feel like this is a video for Coty Airspun powder. Just dust it on there like so. So now for the nose contour. I like to take my ring finger and just sort of blend out the concealer with my finger. I find that it's easier for me to do with this than it would be with a beauty blender. Okay. And then the brush that I used for the setting powder, I'm just going to dust it downwards and just following that line that I created for my nose contour here. So you kind of just want to dust it away. Like I said, that is a really good trick for those of you who are just starting to contour your nose because, you know, look at how defined the line is and everything, so it helps you to stay in the lines more. I'm just taking this little fluffy brush that I have and I'm just buffing out the contour on my nose now. And one more little extra step that I always like to do is I'll go back into whatever bronzer that I'm using and I like to create a button nose. So I just draw like a little U on the tip of my nose here, just to give that button nose effect. See? And then I'm gonna blend that out in a second. Here. And then for the Tin Man highlight, which I love to do, I don't know why, it just makes your nose look so cute and defined. I'm gonna go in with the E.L.F. Baked Highlighter, and this is in the shade Moonlight Pearls, and it's by E.L.F. and I'm just taking a little on my pinky and tapping the tip of my nose with it. Okay, so now to highlight, this is one of my most favorite concealers of all time now. This is the NYX HD Concealer, and this was in the shade... It's in the shade CW06 Glow. So, apply beside my nose area. We're doing it in that triangle shape again. Okay, and then with my beauty blender, obviously I'm going to go ahead and blend that out. Okay, and then before that dries, I'm taking the Coty Airspun powder again, and I'm setting my under eye. Now I'm just going to blend out this side and pretty much do the same thing. I'm going to blend it out and then set it with the powder. Okay, so for blush, I'm going to be using the Milani Illuminating Face Powder. And this is the cutest little thing. It just looks like flowers. It's really pretty. And I'm taking my Morphe E4 brush. It's just like an angled blush brush. And I'm just swooping it into the powder. This also has like a highlight in it as well. And then I do like to take some on my forehead, my nose, chin. Okay, so next I'm taking my E.L.F. small stippling brush and I'm just going to brush off this baking powder. And then last but not least, you definitely want to set your foundation and everything in place for all day wear. So I'm just going to be taking my NYX Matte Finish Long Lasting Setting Spray. And this helps with oils and everything like that once again. So if you're an oily gal or guy, this works. So I just do a, what's the word I'm looking for? Vertical line. Oh, and then an X. and then you just let that soak in, baby. Alright guys, so this is the finished look. I hope that you guys get some knowledge and use out of this. I think that this looks just as good as like a higher end, more upscale makeup look does. So I will put all of the products that I used in the description box below. And write in the comments below what your favorite drugstore product is. Something that we might not know about, but that's a great steal or something, you know, something that we need to get our hands on. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, and stay Bella. Mwah. Bye guys.